All right, it's been a while. Well, for an in-depth one, anyways. I don't know if we're going to go down that in-depth road. First off, I'm going to say hopefully the music's not too loud. I just feel like listening to a bit of background or whatever, but I don't want to put on any headphones at the moment. Secondly, I will be moving the camera around. I wanted to do like an overhead shot, but I don't have like one of those point zoom tilt cameras someday. They're just so bloody expensive. I can't wait to get one someday, though, that's for sure. So that way I can just use a remote and, I can zoom in, move the camera around, zoom out again and get an overhead. So I will be moving this camera around, but I wanted to give kind of an idea of what's been going on for the 8th Army. And I've also got to say this again, I'm having the time of my life with this game. It just keeps, I'm just starting into 1915 here, and I'm just absolutely blown away on how well it's going, and I'm just getting a taste. It's just been fantastic. So I did mention that the Germans, it's the German turn right now, so they've taken the initiative. And well, how many armies we got here? We got the 8th Army, the 9th Army, the 11th Army, and the 12th Army. So we've got the 12th Army over here, the 8th, the 11th. We'll go through them all over there, and then the 9th way up towards Memel and northern East Prussia, if you want to put it that way. Anyways, so they did use 4 reconnaissance, like aerial asset points, and we were able to reveal some strength points over here for the 12th Army. I'll try to zoom in a little bit, and like I said, I'll try to go zoom back and forth, and we'll see if that works. So there you go. Hopefully you can see the numbers. So I've noticed now with the reconnaissance, there's only 4 strength points around the board. Oh yes, another thing I have to remind you guys is that I'm deviating yet again from Der Weltkrieg. In Der Weltkrieg for 1915, people can start making a solid defense, even with through rough terrain and so on. I'm not using that for the Eastern Europe conflict zone here. I didn't feel right with me based on what I was reading up and seeing about the Eastern Front at this time in the war. Maybe after once the Great Retreat is set in and then the Russians really dig in, that's when I think I'll introduce solid defense or whatever. But right now, no. So that's going to be so it's basically the same types of combat issues both sides are dealing with that they were dealing with back in even in late 1914, except there's a bazillion trenches now, so that's going to be interesting, but it's not going to be devastating. Well, even though there's devastation markers when you wipe out the trench. Anyway, so you can see here, so I know that Russians right now looks like they're not interested in doing any offensive along the Nida or the Pitlika river here around Kielce and Radom. So I'm like, okay, I've got, I knew the 12th Army here was part of that Tarnów agreement to take over the rail here. We've got all this, which is just wonderful. And so we can hook around here. I do notice, I'll back out a bit. Well, it's still there, but I'll bring it in a bit more towards that area, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let's see if that works. I'm just trying to see what you can see. Okay, that's not too bad then. Okay, so, and as you can see here, the 12th Army, we've got not a lot of strength points because that's not our, I started cluing in that I just don't have enough supply, especially with the Germans here. There's no reinforcements coming in whatsoever, so it's basically whatever I can start putting on in the production chart. This is it, and I have to be very, very careful. I've already taken off 20 divisions, for goodness sakes, from the Western Front. That's a major, a major weakness there. So like, in other words, I could be very cognizant of when I start noticing there's people, I don't even know about replacement. No, this still takes time to bring replacement units. I'm going to also talk about that with the production chart. That's why I want to deviate again with Der Weltkrieg that way. Is if you want to game the game or game the system here, what I would do essentially is don't make infantry divisions in the production chart. Just pump out replacement units. First of all, it takes half the time to make them, and half the amount of production points, same amount of manpower points, but you've chopped your production points in half and the time it takes in half. It's like, well, for me, it's a no-brainer. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be making infantry divisions. Why I understand why it costs more and takes longer, because you're building in that you know, all the infrastructure and all the logistics and all the administration that goes into a division. I understand that. But what I'm saying is the mechanism for the production, the way it works, I'll just make replacement units and just hope to God I don't ever have divisions wiped out. That being said, I am going to try it out. And if it's unrealistic or it doesn't seem right, I'll just pull away again. I mean, this is fluid. I am going to be using my new combat table, and it's going to be up towards, there's going to be some monster, well, it's going to be devastation, unbelievable amounts of devastation. I'm going to take a look and I'll see what, you know, does it make sense? And if it doesn't, then I won't use it. So I've seen here, for example, there's 20, I don't know if you hopefully can see, but there's 28 strength points here. There's some artillery here, 12, because I used airplane reconnaissance here, so I was able to find out here. So I understand they're concentrating, they're trying to make a push towards Łódź, and I'm in a lot of trouble. I've only got 3 strength points here, 3 strength points here, cavalry here, 3 strength. That was the whole point, though. I kind of knew I was going to retract a little bit. That being said, I was like, okay, let's not do it the way I was normally going to do it, just take a punch in the nose and get wiped out here. So what I'm going to do is probably move, who are these guys? Those are Pink 8th Army. Hold on here. That would be Von Quast, the 30th Corps. So yeah, that's the 30th Corps here. So what I'm going to do is probably move these guys over onto here, when we'll just use the enemy zone of control, movement issues, and I'll just hope to God with 6 points I can take a hit. I'm not going to move these guys over here. I think these are the 29th Corps. Due to the fact that I don't like switching troops between corps willy-nilly, like they would have to go this way kind of thing through the headquarters. I'm not going to just, that's just the way I want to play my command and control issues. So I was looking there, we didn't do any reconnaissance towards here, because that's not, I didn't think the Russians were going to try anything that way, and we're not trying anything that way either. So that, who's ever been in the 8th Army up towards there for most, posted for most of my game, you know, it was only at the very, very beginning when the Russians made a mad dash. They got all the way up to here, past here. Obviously, they were at the border. And then, you know, we pushed them all the way back and started building a railhead. Yeah, it's been a very quiet place to be. All right, so let's go and bring it up a little bit more. But anyways, I got to start moving some troops around. But the thing is, I have to start thinking about, remember, like I said, I don't have any more troops to go through. I'm trying to look to see where you can see. I think we're all right still. Hopefully it's still a bit, you can still see some numbers. So here's the 11th Army. They're more like of a support thing. I wanted to see if I can start doing whatever's. What I'm looking down that way is what I'm saying is perhaps the Russians are going to start performing more of a salient towards Łódź, and if I can start bringing in some troops for the 12th Army, which is where von Bosma is actually. 8th Army is where William Aarons' corps is. I can start bringing in maybe that way and start outflanking them or pinching them that way later. But like I said, the troops I've got here is the troops I've got here. I'm way overloaded. You're going to see in a little bit. I'll bring it a bit more up here. But we're doing not too bad. We got 26 supply points over here. We're flush. This is where all the strength is primarily for the Germans, because I'm trying to push them completely out of East Prussia. The problem is that we did do some reconnaissance here. So where did we do the reconnaissance? Yeah, up here. So I know they're all right here. The Russians don't seem to be. I was rather actually shocked to these 2 positions here, because they're. You know, they only have broken terrain and whatnot, and these are the 2 areas I'd like to nail. And I was doing this thing called Operation Shift. I can't remember the German name for it, Schlachten or something. But anyways, because it doesn't matter, it's a moot point now due to the fact that the Germans won the initiative. But I moved all these troops within, they could still move to the the point at which the attack was going to be made, but I didn't want the Russians to see all that strength points mounted up towards this area because I didn't know what they were. So, you know, I didn't know if they were going to have the initiative and start using their airplanes for reconnaissance. And they would see all this and they'd probably think, oh boy, he's making a push this way and a push that way. No, I'm not. I'm actually just going to be shifting all these troops as much as humanly possible towards this area. This has already been planned out. I got 30, you know, I've got 38 strength points here, 46, 52. I got a ton of stuff coming, man, a lot of grief. About to hit this spot, and I've got do I have it for the 57 supply points, man. It's insane. So I'm really happy for the 9th Army up there. The problem is, and we'll bring it up at the very beginning. Now I have to start shifting troops around. Hold on, I have to really make sure because I was just about to nail. So we're gonna have to move them slight angle, and we'll see what you guys can see. I think you can see. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Opel Cheney units and a couple of brigades up towards or along the Baltic coast and whatnot towards Riga, because I'm going to start getting into the amphibious landing type of thingamajigs. So anyways, when we did the reconnaissance over here, we noticed we're like, oh, there's 24. Well, I ran out of like I didn't have enough. Only get 8. Hexes movement, and I couldn't do it from here. I needed an actual full clear hex side, and there's not a full hex side here there. Anyways, so there's 24 strength points sitting there. There's 20 there, and I'm like, okay, so I know they're obviously going to try to nail Memel. I've got a ton of strength points sitting here, but I wanted to shift them that way, but obviously now I'm going to probably have to start shifting some that way. I've got 40 here, 46. And unfortunately, the core HQ here can only, hold on here though, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I could, no, I can't. That's across a water hex line. I can't do that. So it's up to this poor little core that's going to have to deal with it. Who are you? That's Eberhardt, the 25th Corps. So he's going to have to deal with this Memel thing. We'll just, I'll start bringing in some more, well, I've only got 4 strength points up there, so I'll bring on probably all 6 over to here. So I'll bring it up to 10 and then I'll replace them this way. It's the way to do it. So that's it. I'm having the time of my life with this bloody thing. I'll zoom out a bit and maybe move it back a bit. Oh yeah, I'm just, so many things are, I don't know, just clicking very nicely with this. I'm really having a wonderful time, and now I've been reading. Next book I've been reading now. I'm going to read cover to cover is the Order to Die book there about the Ottoman army during World War I. So I'm quite interested in that, obviously. Okay, that's it. Yeah, and that'll obviously help me out with the next big detail part of the game that I'm playing. For my narrative game. All right, hope you're having fun. See you later.